Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Okay, we've got all learned people within the panel, and the objective is very simple. All of us should take away something from this session that they can go and implement or check or validate within their organization. I don't want to go to the topic of the panel, it's too complex, but what we want to do, the context setting is that in today's landscape, we are all talking about reactive security, but that's not adequate. We want to move to proactive security, continuous exposure management, and making sure that we can preempt something before it happens. Now, having said that, this is an ideal state to be in. There are still that problems that we need to address, and we will go one by one. So, the first question really, I have this for Ranjan. In the context of managing complex hybrid IT landscape, do you see a single pane of glass for entire exposure in the organization will be huge? So for example, on an average, we are using about 10, 15, 20, 25 security tools. Do you think getting a single picture helps the organization to address those risks?
Thanks, Ishik, and thanks, Shashank, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be with all the esteemed people. So, I believe, nowadays we have such a complexity in the environment that, right from ADR, next-gen SOC, everything we are talking about and deploying those tools. Secondly, post-COVID, we have seen that, people are having a hybrid access. It's not just work from home, but work from anywhere. Third important aspect is when we talk about, it's not just employees, it's about the contractors, it's about third parties and what access they have. Okay, so from a threat point of view, it's important that you have visibility across your employees, across your enterprise, and that is what even board would like to see. So I believe the way you should look at is you should look at how you can reduce the tools, not only from the point of view that you are just trying to compromise on the capabilities, but you should have, like in a current environment, you will see that there are 6 to 8 tools or agents that is deployed. But if they are talking to each other, so there are two problems. One is talking of these tools, and another aspect of these tools is when people are accessing it from a hybrid environment, how much visibility do you get? So these things becomes very important, and having that single glass pane. So as a CISO, when I look at it is, when I come to office, do I know what are my top priority risks that needs to be worked on?
Thank you. Coming to Abhijit ji, I think he's touched upon a topic which is board, right? So what is that top 3 or 5 things that boards wants to see when they meet a cybersecurity department?
Very interesting question. And see, the boards, first of all, that we need to understand that they are not really as technical as the cybersecurity professionals are right now. The challenge that needs to be, kind of addressed is how do you translate the cybersecurity metrics into a language or a story that the board understands, right? Now, in a typical cybersecurity parlance, I said this in the morning, I'll repeat it again, is that piece of reporting TRIC, threat, risk, impact, and criticality, right? To the board, you've got to translate this metrics to explain how does it impact brand reputation, how does it contribute to business continuity, how does it serve customer trust, how having business continuity and brand reputation and customer trust, how can this lead to more revenue? How can this lead to more business? I think translating this piece of it is very important to the board. Thanks.
Just one follow-up question to you, because board generally says, I've given you funding, right? The question is, am I protected? What should be a good answer from a CISO?
See, this is a very tricky question. Whenever, before I answer that question, whenever we talk about automation, the first question that the CFO always has is, how many people will you, kind of reduce from the team, right? And my answer always is, what if I give you, today if my MTTR is 4 hours, if I make it 1 hour, I give you 3 hours back. how much more business will you do? It becomes a chicken and egg story. I don't think there is a very straightforward answer to this, but yes, again, when you are kind of reporting the matrices, when you are doing that threat, risk, and impact, if you have the matrices which can depict what was the impact against which you guarded or against which you protected, I think that flies with the board.
Thank you. Thank you. Vinod, coming to you. Can you talk about 2 or 3 metrics which you present to the board? Which they appreciate? Yes, this is looking good or bad, whatever.
Thank you for
That's working.
yeah. Thank you first of all for having me here. So as Abhijit rightly mentioned that first of all we need to care that the board required to explain the things in a very plain language, not very much technical thing and all. As far as the metrics are concerned, so board wants to see whether the business is secure or not, or whatever the investment is being asked, whether that investment is having a kind of ROI. Though there is no ROI in the security term, but that to be translated in such a way where we can pass that confidence to the board, what is the kind of ROI or maybe the value out of that money that can be presented to them. Thank you.
Okay. I think what works well also from my experience is maturity framework. Maturity framework based on few domains and self-rate that as per industry benchmarking. And then you show a progress quarter on quarter. That resonates well.
In fact, to the board, I think what is very important is instead of reporting point numbers, if you can report a relatable trend of events which shows improvement and how close to the benchmarks are that. I think that helps.
Saumil, next question is to you. After having so heavily invested in security, we are talking about all the tools. I was in Black Hat. Everybody was selling that buy my tool and all breaches will go away, right? Even today, 20% of the breaches still go undetected. So, what do you think is a growing challenge? Why there's so much? 20% is a huge number, right? Where do you think the challenge is?
That also is an interesting question. So, my take to this would be first and foremost, hybrid IT itself has created this kind of a problem. Long time ago, there was everything on premise. You could shut the doors and protect up to a certain level. Now you are talking cloud, you are talking BYOD. Forget about just your laptops, even your mobile phones. MDM controls may not be fully effective. There are things which work on iOS, there are things which work on Android. So, that is one aspect. Second aspect is, if you see the way hacking was happening earlier, now the hacking is happening in a very different manner. So, we used to talk about brute force, now we talk about brute force plus AI. So, your 8-character password probably may be broken in 5 minutes or 1 minute. So, these things have created undetected threats, and then any which ways, every day there are new zero-day threats, either due to misconfiguration, either due to human error, either due to, or all due to, gap in the processes. So, more or less, these are some of the factors contributing to about 20% or so of, threats which are getting undetected.
Thanks, Saumil. Saumil has covered the IT part of it.
Yeah.
Tashneem, coming to you, I think you are handling a lot of IoTs.
Yes.
Where do you think IoT contributes significantly those 20%? What's your experience on that?
Yeah. So thanks, first of all, Rishi. It's a very interesting topic. I think the attack or a reconnaissance revolves around this issue, which you said 20% is getting undetected. So I would start from the NIST framework, which everyone knows. The identify, then protect, detect, remediate, and recover. Right. So nowadays there are a lot of things like attackers see. From an attacker's perspective, he always see your attack surface. what is visible from an outside, what all uh, the vulnerable assets, public facing assets which are publicly available and vulnerable and can be attacked. So he is from an outside. So you will have that attack surface view, what all my assets are vulnerable and available for an attack. Okay. So I would emphasize the attack surface management strategy should be very strong. Okay. You can have an asset management. The basics we all know. Hardly we have nobody I think has 100% asset inventory in place. So what all are assets and the critical assets, if we are able to categorize what all critical assets, so definitely like you said, OT. So for us being in manufacturing auto industry, the OT piece is very, very critical. And in the era of digitization, definitely we are also going digitized and the things are getting controlled through AI and ML engines basically, and hence those are very critical for us. So I would say the attack surface management. So you will have an asset management through an attack surface. Then how you can do attack surface reduction. Okay. So by removing the shadow IT, okay, by removing, there are a lot of scenarios for an ease of access. We keep on exposing our assets, the critical assets to the internet, which is not at all required. And we even don't patch it. Okay. So we even don't know what our assets are available. So do attack surface management, then attack surface reduction, then we can have a strong scanning or a monitoring mechanism for all our public facing. That is our crown jewels, right? That is where from the attacker can get inside, right? So yes, from an OT perspective, again, when we talk OT, definitely an OT IT becomes a very critical, the OT IT segmentation, okay? So we have to, basically what we are doing, we are doing a strong segmentation between an OT and IT. What all traffics, we definitely don't allow the traffic going inside to an OT environment. If it is really needed, we allow traffic which can go out for a very, definitely, if it is really required for a higher management and all. And then I would say the attack surface report should be the part of your incident response strategy as well. And it should be included into the business goal also. So the attack surface report should be included into the GRC team as well as the business goal. So that board should also know, right, what all my vulnerabilities or the attack surface or how the business will be impacted if I am not going to remediate. So one of the questions which you asked earlier, the board. So by giving a visibility to board, definitely we can get their buyings and their confidence level, and that is how they will start supporting to the security, and will definitely they will sanction the budgets too.
Okay.
So these are the couple of
Thanks.
the perspectives. Yeah.
Shantanu, you've been a veteran and you meet like CISOs day in, day out. How does consolidation, visibility, single pane of glass, my environment is so diverse, complex, I see vulnerabilities at one place with prioritization. Do you think that's the trend CISOs are looking at?
Thanks, Asti. No, I mean, very interesting conversations, and I can say I'm just happy I'm not a CISO, because the stuff you guys have to deal with is enormous. There's a lot of convergence around the questions that you asked. So single pane of glass, it's sort of without visibility and context, there's no value of single pane of glass. And then sort of, and moving to the trends, and then you talked about sort of 20% of the breaches are undetected. And a big reason for that is hybrid networks, because the reason being there's a lot of unscannable assets. There's a lot of crown jewels that are sitting in supposedly air-gapped networks, which, but with the IT-OT convergence or convergence of these networks, there's nothing that's really air-gapped anymore. And one of our largest customers in the region, they're a critical infrastructure mining company. And the CISO of that company once told me that, when there's a breach in a large bank or something, money is lost. When there's a big breach in our setup, lives are lost, right? So, it's a trend around everybody trying to converge technologies, and there's no. You've already invested a lot in technology, so there's no point ripping and replacing. You need an ability to sort of pull all that together with a single visibility, adding the context, avoiding the sort of gaps that you have in your network, and then being able to take actions on that on a continuous basis, right? And the fact that if you have a single pane of glass which is updated on a regular basis, you have the context, you have full visibility, and you're sure that it cuts across your entire converged hybrid network, that's your response to the board, back to what he was saying earlier, can be far more effective in the language that they understand, right? So you can start with quantification of risks, right? But it can go out to the next level of being able to understand, business continuity impact, revenue leak impact, etc. So that's the holy grail.
Thanks, Shantanu. Abhijit, question to you. Last 2 years, we all have been talking about zero trust, right? People are saying it is a must. People are saying, but still we've not seen complete implementations of zero trust. Is the journey too long, or zero trust has lived its days?
So in my own opinion, zero trust, I think it all depends upon how it has been sold and how it has been adopted. I think during the pandemic, zero trust was pushed as a replacement of VPN. It has kind of remained there. But the complete potential and the deployment of zero trust, it is a journey. Organizations will need to seriously think through it. And obviously it requires a lot of change management, a lot of new architecture changes. So I think we are still, the tip of the iceberg is what has happened with zero trust is what I would say.
Okay, thank you. Vinod, do you want to add on to zero trust?
So as rightly mentioned by Abhijit, zero trust is not something which will be gone or kind of thing. So zero trust is something that people will need to see. It's not something a single tool to deploy. It's kind of framework, entire framework. So few of the organization is just started their journey, and it will take some time to take the maturity curve and all. So that's all.
Thanks.
I would also add. So just to add what my colleague said. So zero trust, we started the journey of zero trust already. It's a very, I would say, we are going good. It's a very good journey. So by having zero trust, definitely you can have a remote offices for your small offices, or the offices where there are 100 people, 200, 500 people even. You don't have to even deploy a infrastructure, IT infrastructure. You can have an internet connection and then can configure the zero trust, where it will not even trust on identity, on assets. It will only allow the application based on the applications. So it's a good concept, I would say, because it does not require even infrastructure to be set. No firewall, no router, no switches, no servers, nothing at all. Only you need to have an internet connection, the broadband connection. By installing an agent, you will virtually get connected to your office and can access the application based on your, what is there is allowed, the ACL. So but it's a journey. Definitely it will take time to get it mature.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think we'll take one learning from each one of you. I think we've all seen breaches of all large category. For our audience, if we can start from you and then we'll go till Shantanu. One takeaway that they should take from this session, implement, view, manage, which will help them elevate their security.
Defensive security is what all we do. I think we as a fraternity of security experts need to start thinking offensive security. It's very important to build that capability.
I think, rather than doing a traditional way of security, security has to go as a data-centric security. We should know that what, how, and where our data is, and then those relevant controls should be there. It's not just your data will be, because one of the days when data was there in the data center, it's there on the machines, there in the, with third parties, there with contractors, so you need to have those data-centric controls.
Somil, offensive, data security, coming to you, Somil.
I would, mention about change management process. We all know about what happened to one very recent incident on CrowdStrike. So stronger change management process is required. Change board is required. Any change, whatever we do, it has to undergo a proper change management cycle. Another aspect is to have user training. I think user awareness is something which is must. Many organizations follow, but somewhere the employees just, they just want to do it as a tick mark that, yeah, there is a quarterly security training and we just want to finish it. They don't get the deep understanding on why it is so essential, because they all are touch points from where a breach can happen. So that sensitivity has to be created as a culture.
Okay.
For me, actually, we need to take a shift from reactive to proactive approach. As you Rishi rightly mentioned, that continuous threat exposure management framework. So we need to opt that framework and to change our mindset from reactive to proactive one.
Yeah, thanks. I think we should have a very strong cyber defense team in place, along with the very next gen security operations center, with definitely the detection capabilities with AI and ML engine built in, so that it can help us, our analysts, in doing a proactive threat hunting. Okay, so predictive analytics, that is what I was trying to recall. It's a predictive. So what is that is going to happen based on the AI and ML or a behavioral analysis or a past trends? What can go wrong in future? That should have the SOC tool should have that much capability to prevent. That is what I would add.
Shantanu?
Thank you. I think from my perspective, I would encourage CISOs to start to or stop to look at individual cyber infrastructure as silos. So, people look at, okay, this firewalls protect this, EDRs protect that. There's those silos are created. And try to move towards looking at your entire cyber assets, defense assets as a single platform and manage that on a sort of a ongoing, continuous basis. So deploying a program around continuous threat and exposure management is probably what I would encourage people to do.
Thank you, Shantanu. So how can we have a panel without talking about AI, since everybody talks about AI, so I have to talk about AI. So everybody is talking about use cases of AI. People are saying AI will change the world, right? We will stick it to cyber, and we will start from Shantanu and go here. Do you think AI has a vital role to play in cyber, and is it already playing or still a long way to go?
My answer is yes. And if all this while CISOs have been wondering how do they connect better with business, now you're talking something that is relevant or driven by business. And there are multiple use cases of AI. I can't cover all of those, but even in the space that we play in, sort of looking at using AI for operations, automation around there, looking at industry benchmarks, etc. So there's multiple use cases, and it'll help CISOs to connect better with the boardroom and the CEOs because that's their agenda.
Thanks. Sneem.
Yeah, definitely. We should have an AI capability in the tools to prevent and predict. Yes, of course. So see, AI definitely use case can be, it can help analysts in doing a proactive threat hunting, definitely creating a use cases where he can simply type in a Gen AI what should be the use case for blocking the brute force attack and all, it definitely will give a use case that and can in a single click the use case can get created and the detection can be an automated and definitely the orchestration, the automated response can also be leveraged by having AI. Yes, of course.
Thank you. Vinod?
Nobody can deny that AI will add or will not add the value into the cybersecurity. The point is, as you rightly mentioned, the automation, yeah, one of the use case with the help of the AI is the automation. But need to see that what level of automation is required because that can go in other way around as well. So the human intervened AI I would prefer to be focused on.
Thank you. Quickly.
So for me, it totally depends on the risk appetite of the organization. AI definitely would be used for false positive identification and all, but I would still be looking at assisted AI kind of a mechanism, whereas there is a human which is overseeing before something gets deployed. So for analysis and reporting purposes, AI is best. Implementation, I would still, would want to keep that
Thank
reserve.
you. Quickly from your.
I would definitely say yes, because from the detection and predictive analysis, AI will play a major role. But on the other hand side, for AI, it's not just we need AI for cybersecurity, but from an AI risk and the adaptability point of view, because AI is going to be a 25 trillion economy, so cyber has to play a major role. Otherwise, the risk can be tremendous.
Thank you.
I'll close it with an acronym, SAS, speed, accuracy and scale, period.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, and I think it's everybody got something to take back to the organization. Thank you. Appreciate it.
For sure. Thank you so much. For a group photograph, please. And that comes with the certificate that we are presenting to you. That comes on the screen for contributing towards a greener planet. Can we all come together and contribute towards a round of applause, please? At least for the endorphins. Keep clapping and keep celebrating.